If your online presence is not building enough credibility for people to be able to trust you and hire you, then you have to do it on your own. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Jacob. I'm the drone coach. You can follow me on Instagram for daily tips on how to build your drone business, make money flying drones in the United States. So I was recently on a call with my coaching clients and was walking through just a communication back and forth that I had with a lead that came in from my website, and it was pretty simple back and forth email. They asked if I could help them. I figured out what exactly they were needing, and then I pitched them on a price for the package that they were looking for. And it was very simple. They came back and said, cool, approved, send over the contract. And usually whenever I send a price, I say, once the price is approved, I'll send over a contract, then we'll get you on the schedule. So that way we can get you booked and book the shoot and shoot things. So I did all that, and it was pretty simple back and forth. And when I was thinking about how I could teach this to my clients, I realized 7 years into the game, a lot has changed for me. And maybe I'm just getting lazier, but it's also what it comes down to is the credibility that I have with people online. My brand itself, like the leads are coming in and they're already basically trusting my ability to be able to provide them a good product. And so if I was starting out, if I was in my, first year building my drone business, I would definitely not do that. If you get a lead, if you get someone who's interested in your services, really, you have to be the one to prove the credibility yourself, right? So when someone sees my website, they see 80 plus 5-star reviews on Google. They see the quality, they see the packages, they see all the work that I've done, clients that I've worked with, industries that I'm targeting, that I'm working in. That builds the credibility for them. So if you don't have that, that's okay, but you have to prove it for yourself. Like, you can't assume that they know how great you are because you don't have anything to show for yourself. And so if you were to get a prospect in, like a lead that was interested in your services, I would 100% call them, set up a Zoom call, set up a meet and greet where you can talk about your service, your product, what you're doing, and how you're providing exceptional drone services, because they probably don't trust you at that point, at that level where you can just send them an email and say, hey, it's going to be X amount of dollars, and them go, okay, cool. Like, that will be nice one day. But if you're trying that and it's not working, it's not converting clients, then I'd recommend switching this up. We want to be able to prove that we are the best option. And so if my online presence doesn't have a bunch of 5-star reviews, it doesn't have a bunch of quality content for that niche in that industry, then what we'll need to do is do that work for ourselves. We'll need to manually do that for each lead, for each prospect, and say, here's an example of what we could do for you. This is what we did similar to your industry, sending them maybe a direct just Dropbox link, something simple, where it's an example of what they could get from you. Hopefully it's in the industry or it looks similar to the industry that they're in. So that way it's not like, hey, here's a real estate listing that we shot last week and we can obviously help with your marketing business. It's like, no, that's completely different. We want to have something that's, specific to them. Then we also want to build credibility by saying, hey, this is what I bring to the table. I've been flying drones this long. This is the equipment that I have. This is what we'll be able to capture for you. And all those things, along with, hey, I'm licensed, insured. Like, we have to prove to them that we are the best option, because chances are, if they see your website or your online presence and it's not, very dialed, it doesn't look amazing, maybe they'll still reach out, because hopefully you're showing up in search results, you're on Google Search Console, tracking all that stuff, your SEO is built out, so you're showing up. But they reach out. If they see something where it's like, yeah, this could work, but maybe not, a lot of times it's just kind of coming down to the price. So if you're like, yeah, it's going to be $289. Well, maybe they're not super sold on working directly with you. And now that they have that number, they're going to go ahead and try to find somebody else potentially that could do that work for them. And sometimes it's not even necessarily about the number. It's just more now they have data to be able to ask somebody else. And back when I got started, this kind of happened a couple times where I was pitching a service, monthly progress updates, and my price point was pretty low compared to what my competitor was charging. And so I was like, yeah, hands down, I'm going to get the project. They're probably charging like double what I was. Well, they ended up getting the project. They ended up getting the contract because the credibility that they had. And I didn't do the work to actually build trust and rapport with that client, with that lead, enough for them to say, oh, Jacob's our guy. He's going to take care of us. They went with someone else who was more experienced and charged a higher price. But they had built the rapport. They had enough credibility built that way they could show, hey, you know, this is going to be worth our time. This is going to be worth going with this versus someone else who's going to do it significantly cheap. So a lot of times we get afraid about pricing and think, oh, price is the only thing that people are thinking about and considering when working with me. Well, they may be thinking price is the only factor if they don't feel like you're bringing the credibility to the table that builds trust, right? Because we got to get someone to know us, like us, and trust us before they ever buy from us. And so if we're not doing that, if we don't have enough trust built with them, then why would they work with us? They're just going to find someone else that they think can actually take care of them. And so what I'd recommend for you when you're moving forward, pitching your services, if someone reaches out, number one, get excited. Like, get excited about the idea of working with them. So whenever I email someone, when they send in a quote, I say, hey, my name's Jacob. I'd be happy to help partner up with you on this project. And then I ask 2 to 3 questions that kind of help me understand exactly what we're going to be working with so that I can give them a good estimate on price. So start with excitement, because no one wants to work with someone who's frustrated or not energetic about working with them. And a lot of times you can be worried about how you're going to charge and how you're going to quote them. And that comes through in the conversation, in the communication, where it's like, oh, I don't know, like maybe, and like it just becomes off-putting when at the end of the day, you're just more so like worried that you don't exactly know what to charge. Well, one, we want to be excited, but then 2, we want to be confident in the pricing that we can provide. So for me, like, I'm very confident in the prices that I throw out there, and I know like why I came up with that number and that I'm comfortable charging that amount. And so if you're not comfortable with that, build out your packages in some example, just standard packages where you can really be comfortable just like pitching that and saying, hey, here's the number, we're starting at this number. That could be customized, so it could be something different based on your project, but this is a standard package that we do all the time. That way they at least have a number in mind. So, but like getting confident in price will do 2 things. Like I said, it'll remove uncertainty for you, which allows you to be more excited about the project. And then 2, it also brings clarity on you actually knowing what you're doing. Because a lot of times, like, we can throw out a number, but it's also like figuring out the information that we need to come to that decision. And what I tell pilots in the program all the time, I guess this is kind of like number 3. It's like when you're coming up with a price, like when you're figuring out what to charge for a client, sometimes it's custom, sometimes it's standard. We don't want to overwhelm them with like 150 questions. And I feel like that happens a lot when we have uncertainty on what we're going to be providing. It's like, okay, well, what about this? What about that? What about these 10 things that aren't actually relevant? Like, hey, are you needing the H.265 or H.264 for the, video? Are you needing 5.1K or 4K? All that stuff is important, but after the fact. After they've agreed to the price, after you guys set up a contract, what I recommend is having 2 to 3 solid questions like, where is it located? What is the goal of the footage? And, maybe like, what are you hoping to accomplish with this shoot, right? So that gives you your address. I would say address, timeline, like address to get your location, timeline to figure out when it's going to happen. And then number 3, like goal of the footage. So that way you can effectively, pitch a specific package that works for them. And then we wait. We don't have to get into the nitty-gritty on all of the details unless they're wanting something very, very custom, very, very specific. If they have like a list of 10 different items, then obviously we're going to want to be very specific on our pricing and go line by line in a quote. But if they're just like, hey, we're looking to get some drone footage, some video, edited, unedited, whatever it is, photos, cool. Now I've got enough information to be able to at least give them a starting point for price. And then if they tell me something else after that, then I can say, oh yeah, that will adjust price based on XYZ because you want me out there for maybe a longer than a 1 hour period, or, you know, more time on site, or whatever it is, or different type of drone footage. Okay, I'm going to bring 2 drones. It's going to be more expensive. All those things can kind of be worked out when you're finalizing the details versus beforehand, because at the end of the day, I want to be easy to work with, right? How can you be easy to work with? By not overwhelming the prospect on all the information that they need to give you. Because if they're going through like 10 and 15 questions trying to figure out exactly like what you're wanting from them before they ever even get like some sort of number or some sort of idea or estimate, they might just go with somebody else who's easier to work with, who's more formal with the communication, more like, hey, these are the things that I need, but then, hey, based on what I know so far, this is a price that I can throw out there. Let me know if there's any other stuff that I need to know about. So that way it's easy for them to actually book you and work with you. So moving forward, in summary, what I'd recommend for you is get a solid online presence. If you don't have a solid online presence already, then build the proof with that individual lead, individual prospect that's interested in your service, because the online presence isn't going to do it for you. No one else is going to do it for you. You've got to prove it yourself and build that rapport so that people know you, like you, and trust you. And then when you are actually talking to a prospect, make it easy, make it simple, like simplify the process so that way they want to work with you at the end, versus being like, man, I do not want to work with this guy again. Like, we're going to have to commit to this time, but next time we're finding someone else. Make it easy for the client to want to work with you and to hire you again in the future. So hopefully that was helpful for you. Like I said, if you're wanting daily tips and tricks on how to make money flying drones in the drone industry, follow me on Instagram at The Drone Coach. I'd be happy to chat with you and see if maybe I can help you take your business to the next level this year and moving forward. Fly safe.